it's Nikki here. I'm here today to do a Harry Potter spells book tag. The original video was done by TurtleSympathy. However, as far as I can tell, the video has maybe been taken down. But that's where these original questions came from as per the other videos I watched. Pretty straightforward. For each spell, I pick a book that I think matches the prompt. And with that, I will start the prompts. The first prompt is Expecto Partronum. That is a book from your childhood that has very fond memories attached. The book I picked for this one is Junie B. Jones and the Stupid Smelly Bus by Barbara Park. This is one of the books that I learned to read off of, and I have just very fond memories of piling onto the couch with my parents and my sister, and we all just sat down and took turns reading, and just, it was such a funny book. It was such a good book. I just have such fond memories because of us getting together and reading and laughing, and it is definitely one of the reasons that I enjoy reading so much. The second spell is Expelliarmus. This is a book that took you by surprise. For me, this book is Three Dark Crowns by Kendara Blake. I went into this book expecting not to enjoy it at all, so the bar was set pretty dang low. But I actually ended up enjoying it. I thought it was a really unique premise and a very interesting world. The third spell is Prior Incantato. This is what is the last book you read. I am filming this a little bit in advance, so I will go with the last book I read as of filming this. And unfortunately for me, the book I last read and finished was My Sister, the Serial Killer by Oyinkan Braithwaite. I think the book was pretty well written, and the characters were really interesting. However, I did not enjoy it, just the way everything felt together. And I have a review on Goodreads if anybody's interested in reading it. The fourth spell is Alohamora. This is a book that introduced you to a genre that you hadn't considered before. For me, this book would be The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot, because up until about November 2019, I had read almost zero nonfiction books. It's just something I never got into when I was a younger reader, and I only really made the choice to pick up some nonfiction in November because Olive at Book Olive does Nonfiction November every year, and even though I didn't participate officially, it pushed me to pick up some nonfiction, and I've really been enjoying it, and I've been exploring it a lot more since. The fifth spell is Riddikulus. This is a funny book that you've read recently. I would have to go with The Martian by Andy Weir. Although the book in and of itself really isn't a comedy, I loved the main character and how funny he was. The sense of humor written for that character just really aligned with my own, and I found myself chuckling at a few points in the book, and I just really enjoyed myself with it. The sixth spell is Sonorous. This is a book that you think more people need to know about. The book I picked for this is Gear and Sea. According to Goodreads, I'm one of 5 people who have reviewed this book. It was a pretty recent release. Came out, I believe, early 2019. But I met the author in Artist's Alley at a Fan Expo convention, and she really sold me on the book. She described it a little bit like Iron Giant meets dystopian, and I really enjoyed it. It's kind of like a middle grade, young adult age range, and it's just a book about 2 girls and a robot and the power of friendship within those relationships. And I really enjoyed it. It was really cute and sweet. If I didn't mention, the author is Claire C. Marshall. Definitely check her out. Her stuff's mostly kind of middle grade, young adulty, like the younger end of young adult, but I've really enjoyed the stuff of hers that I've read. Spell 7 is Obliviate. That is a book or spoiler that you'd like to forget that you've read. Rather than go with a spoiler, I'm going to go with a book because I recently read at the beginning of this year Duty and Desire, which is the second installment in the Fitzwilliam Darcy series written by Pamela Aden. The first book I really enjoyed. The second book I should have skipped, and if I had done more research, I would have seen that it was not worth reading, and then the series gets better with the third one again. It was a very weird and not enjoyable experience. That's all I can really say. It strayed so greatly from the Pride and Prejudice story that I couldn't believe it. Spell 8 is Imperio. This is a book that you had to read for school. And I was in a weird program in high school, and because of it, I ended up not having to take English in university. But because of the program I took, instead of just having like English language arts classes, we always had our English classes paired with world literature, so I actually read some really interesting books. And the book I'm going to go with from school is Flowers for Algernon. I read it in grade 9, so when I was about 14 or so, and it's one of the books that I've read in high school that has impacted me the most and stayed with me the longest. I'm actually hoping to pick it up again sometime this year because it was just amazing. It's about this man and this rat and kind of their development, the rise and fall of their mental capacity after this specific surgery is done. And it's a very heartbreaking but very good book. I'd recommend it to anybody. Spell 9 is Crucio. And this spell, and the book that you were to pick for this, is one that was painful to read. And let me tell you, I've had a few books this year that have been a little painful to read already. Duty and Desire was one of them, but the one I picked for this prompt was The One by Kiera Cass. And I really enjoyed the first book. Well, the second was awful and almost exclusively love triangle. The third one didn't get much better and resulted in me putting down the series, and I'm not going to finish it ever. I know there's 2 more books, and I've been told they get better, but I'm just done with the series. Second book kicked that belief off, and the third just wrapped it up tight, never doing it again. I think there's a lot of people out there that would really like this series, and the third book is where the girl hate kind of stopped being such a big issue, but no, I'm done. And with that, we're on to the final spell of this book tag, and that is 10, Avada Kedavra. And this one is a book that can kill. And in brackets it says, interpret as you will. So what I went with was a book where while reading it, I went, dear God, kill me now. And this book is The Star's My Destination by Alfred Bester. And this was kind of like my rant review that I did a rant review of it, and I never published it because I was so upset and so incoherent that it wasn't worth putting anybody else through. I just couldn't with this book. And with that, I am done the spells book tag. I'm not tagging anybody specific in the comments or on screen here, but if you are interested, by all means, I will include the questions below. Feel free to check out the other videos that have been done. And again, the original questions were done by TurtleSympathy. However, as far as I can tell, the video isn't up anymore. So unfortunately, I cannot watch it. I can only reference the user. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!